Hello everyone, and welcome to Behind the Bulletin. Today, we're bringing you a story that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and left fans completely stunned. After months of rumors, speculation, and silence, a shocking revelation has finally come to light. Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu have broken their silence, addressing the truth behind the explosive claims surrounding their secret first child, a story no one saw coming. What is real, what is rumor? And why is this revelation happening now? Stay with us and let's uncover the truth together, starting right now. For months, the entertainment world had been simmering with whispers too persistent to ignore. What began as scattered online comments slowly evolved into a storm of speculation, fueled by blurry photos, misinterpreted schedules, and the internet's relentless appetite for secrets. At the center of it all were Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu, two of the most recognizable and carefully watched stars of their generation. Every appearance, every absence, every subtle expression was dissected frame by frame. As fans and critics alike asked the same dangerous question, what are they hiding? The rumors didn't explode overnight. They crept in quietly, hiding in comment sections and late-night live streams, gaining strength through repetition rather than proof. A sudden pause in public appearances, overlapping timelines that seemed a little too coincidental. A casual remark taken out of context and magnified beyond recognition. The narrative wrote itself, growing darker and more dramatic with each retelling. Before anyone realized what was happening, the phrase secret first child was circulating with alarming confidence, as if speculation alone could transform into fact. Inside the industry, tension was unmistakable. Publicists refused to comment. Schedules were adjusted. Interviews carefully avoided personal territory. Silence, once a shield, now felt like fuel. To some, it was proof that something was being hidden. To others, it was simply two artists protecting the last fragments of privacy they still possessed. But the pressure kept mounting, and the longer the silence stretched, the more explosive the eventual response was destined to be. Behind closed doors, the situation was far more complex than the headlines suggested. Friends and colleagues described exhaustion, frustration, and disbelief at how quickly an unverified rumor could spiral into a supposed truth. Zhao Lusi continued working, smiling for cameras while knowing every gesture would be scrutinized. Liu Wu maintained his professional composure, even as online discussions grew increasingly aggressive. The rumor had stopped being entertainment, it was becoming a burden. Then came the moment no one expected. Without a press conference, without dramatic teasers, silence finally cracked. It wasn't a confirmation, nor was it the scandal many had predicted. Instead, it was something far more unsettling for those who thrived on chaos, a direct, calm response that refused to play by the rules of gossip. The words were measured, deliberate, and unmistakably firm. Followed sent shockwaves through the same spaces that had fueled the rumors in the first place. The response didn't arrive as a dramatic confession, it arrived as clarity. Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu addressed the swirling speculation head-on, dismantling the narrative piece by piece. Spoke not of hidden truths, but of how easily fiction can masquerade as reality in the digital age. The so-called secret first child, they explained, was never a truth waiting to be revealed. A rumor built from coincidence, imagination, and unchecked repetition. What made the moment shocking wasn't the content, it was the tone. There was no anger, no defensive outburst, no attempt to sensationalize the situation further. Instead, there was disappointment. Disappointment that personal lives could be rewritten by strangers. Disappointment that silence, once a sign of dignity, had been transformed into an accusation. Their words carried weight precisely because they were restrained, cutting through noise with calm authority. The aftermath was immediate and intense. Fans expressed relief, admitting they had been swept up in the momentum of the rumor without questioning its foundation. Others reacted with embarrassment, confronting how easily they had accepted speculation as fact. Of course, there were still those who refused to let go, insisting that there must be more. But the narrative had shifted. The burden of proof had returned to where it belonged. Industry insiders later described the statement as a turning point, not just for Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu, but for how celebrity rumors are consumed and spread. It exposed how quickly curiosity can become entitlement, and how damaging that transformation can be. The story that once promised scandal ended up revealing something far more uncomfortable, the power of collective imagination when left unchecked. In the days that followed, stars returned to their work, visibly determined to move forward. The noise slowly began to fade, replaced by a quieter reflection among fans and media alike. What had seemed like a shocking revelation was, in the end, a reminder, one that lingered longer than any rumor. Silence is not guilt. Privacy is not deception. And not every story whispered online deserves to become a headline. The real shock wasn't a hidden child or a secret life. It was how easily the world believed there was one. In the quiet days that followed, noise did not disappear all at once. It lingered, echoing through comment sections, reaction videos, and whispered conversations that refused to fully let go, even after the clarification. After the calm and unmistakable response, the story continued to breathe on its own, no longer as a rumor, but as a case study in how far speculation can travel once it escapes control. For Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu, aftermath was not about clearing their names. That part, at least on paper, was already done. Remained was far more complicated, rebuilding the invisible boundary between the public identities and their private lives, a boundary that had been crossed, trampled, and rewritten without permission. The experience left a mark, not visible on stage or screen, but present in the way silence was now understood. Silence was no longer neutral. It had been weaponized. Industry observers noted a subtle shift in how both stars carried themselves. There was no withdrawal, dramatic retreat from the public eye, but there was a newfound precision. Every appearance felt intentional. Every word felt weighed, not out of fear, but out of awareness. The illusion that privacy could simply exist without explanation had been shattered. From now on, privacy would have to be defended. Behind the scenes, conversations were happening across the industry. Managers, publicists, fellow actors quietly acknowledged what everyone had just witnessed. A rumor with no evidence had gained global traction simply because it sounded sensational enough to believe. Information was needed. No source was required. All it took was repetition. The realization was unsettling. It could happen to Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu. It could happen to anyone. Fans, too, were forced to confront uncomfortable truths. Many admitted, some publicly, some privately, that they had shared posts without verifying them, commented without thinking, speculated without restraint. What began as curiosity had slowly turned into participation. And once the story collapsed under the weight of reality, the excitement gave way to reflection. The disappointment they felt was not toward the stars themselves. Yet not everyone reflected. A small but persistent corner of the internet continued to search for hidden meanings, insisting that calm denials were simply another layer of secrecy. It was perhaps the most revealing consequence of all. For some, the truth was less compelling than the fantasy. The idea of a shocking secret had become more appealing than reality itself. In that space, facts struggled to survive. What ultimately emerged from the chaos was not a revelation about a child, but about perception. Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu had not revealed a hidden life. They had revealed the fragility of truth in an age driven by speed, emotion, and clicks. Their response did not end the conversation, it redirected it. Away from scandal, toward accountability. As time passed, the headlines moved on, as they always do. New rumors replaced old ones. Names entered the cycle. But this story left something behind. A pause. A hesitation. A question quietly forming before the next share, the next comment, the next assumption. Do we actually know this, or do we just want it to be true? For Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu. Continued. Projects resumed. Cameras flashed. Applause returned. The experience remained, a reminder that fame does not erase humanity, and that even the brightest stars are not immune to the consequences of collective imagination. In the end, the most shocking revelation was never about a secret child. It was about how easily a lie can feel real when enough people want it to be. As the dust finally settles, this story leaves behind more than headlines and reactions. It leaves a lesson, quiet but powerful. What began as a shocking rumor evolved into a moment of reckoning, revealing how quickly speculation can overpower truth, and how fragile the line between curiosity and intrusion has become. Zhao Lusi and Liu Wu did not just address a rumor, they confronted a system that thrives on silence, speed, and sensationalism. Their decision to speak, calmly, firmly, and without theatrics, became the strongest statement of all. Not every secret exists. Not every silence hides a truth. Sometimes, silence is simply the last space left for dignity. In choosing clarity over chaos, they reminded the public of something easily forgotten: celebrities are still human. And privacy is not a privilege, it is a right. Thank you for staying with us until the very end of this story. Your time, attention, and willingness to look beyond the surface are what give stories like this their true meaning. Here at Behind the Bulletin, we remain committed to exploring the narratives behind the headlines, carefully, responsibly, and thoughtfully. We appreciate your support and trust, and we look forward to bringing you more in-depth stories that challenge assumptions and reveal the deeper truth. Thank you for reading.